Well, welcome to this episode of Legacy Podcast. My name is Jeff Usner. I'm here with my beautiful bride.
Jennifer Usner?
Did you pronounce it correctly?
I don't know. Probably not. I'm still learning.
It took till about 17, 18 years of marriage till...
I still don't pronounce it correctly.
Well, no, I'm just talking about my first name, not my second name.
Oh.
My second name. Last name. So part of legacy is this type of stuff.
I know.
Here we go. I was Jeffrey for, I think, the first 20 years of our marriage, and now I'm Jeffrey. So it's like a new identity.
But I was always Usner, and you're like, no, it's Usner or something.
Right.
I don't know.
So there's legacy in a name, right? I guess. Yes. Somewhat.
Whether you pronounce it correctly or not.
Yeah, that's true. The Shyrock clan is your name. So,
yes.
Well, welcome to this episode. And I'm here with my beautiful bride and my son, as always. This is our second one of doing this, but other ones I've done with him here as well behind the camera. And today we have a very simple topic for the second episode.
But a very important one.
It might be one of the most important.
Yes. Many people mess up on this one.
Or continue to.
Yes.
So we're going to get into it. Today we're talking about non-negotiables.
Ooh, what is non-negotiable?
What does that mean?
Yes. What does non-negotiable mean?
Non-negotiable. We were joking. I said it's non-negotiable that you will define what non-negotiable is first. So that's how we started. Hey, this is a non-negotiable. I had to marry somebody that laughs at my jokes. There's my first example. I gave you an answer.
And I had to marry someone that wasn't in debt. That was a non-negotiable.
That took a while, though.
Yes.
So non-negotiables. I think we live in a world of compromise.
Very
Maybe
much.
That's a good way to put it. Compromise our morals, compromise integrity, rationalize lies to ourselves, compromise our health, compromise others, compromise situations.
Compromise in the church.
Compromise in the church.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about faith, finance, and family. Compromise in all those areas.
In the family.
Right. Faith, family, and finance.
With your kids.
A lot of compromise that can go on. And I think maybe the opposite of that is like a non-negotiable. So I guess I could start with another example since you wanted me to start. I've already given one. I think the second non-negotiable in our household growing up, this is like going basic non-negotiables because we're going to get into some more real stuff. This is real. Is we were talking about it last week. I sat here filming a podcast with our son Joshua, and growing up, there were some non-negotiables in our house. Lying was one of those.
Mm-hmm.
That was punishable by wooden spoon at a certain age. It was not acceptable. There was like no way to repent out of lying. I mean, you repent out of it, but there was always a consequence to it. Whereas other times, there wasn't necessarily certain consequences with it. But that's been a non-negotiable in our house.
But on that topic, the kids knew, like, God would show you and tell you before they would even fess up.
That's true sometimes.
So they knew.
And I wanted them to think it was all the time.
No, but you were pretty much, you could discern things that was going on even before maybe they did.
Yeah.
And so that helped that.
Put
because
the fear of God in a...
No, but the thing was
Jeff.
Is that we wanted to be a place where you could tell us anything.
Yeah, that's
like, we're going to love you. We're going to, like, there's nothing you can't tell us that either we haven't done ourselves or haven't known someone to do or think. And
we're not going to use it against you.
No.
I grew up in a house where it was manipulation and use it against you or bring it up in the future, unforgiveness. So those are real things that most people walk through in life.
But we wanted everyone to be a clean slate. Once you repent, okay, it's forgotten. We can move on. You don't have to keep going in guilt and all of that. Like, let's just repent, move, and then move on and not do it again.
I remember, like, where even this whole, I guess, verbiage of non-negotiable, actually, as we're talking about it, the genesis of it in my mind was when we lived in Kerrville, Texas. I don't know how many years ago that would have been. Let's call it 16 years ago. And I was on a school board of a school called Covenant Academy.
Very good school.
Really great school.
Great people.
Teachers. Not around anymore.
Yes, great
unfortunately.
classmates.
But got involved on the board at that school and helping in the best way that I could to lead and guide. But there was a person who joined the board. His name is Trent Richmond. Trent, if you're watching, hello. Has a great family, great legacy, business, family, finance, the whole thing. In fact, maybe we need to have Trent on here sometime. But he came to the school board meeting. There were 4 or 5 of us on it at that time or in that meeting. And he handed us each a list of non-negotiables. I thought it was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He had them written out, and he said, "Look, you're just getting to know me. I'm getting involved with the board. I want you to know non-negotiables." I don't remember one on it, to be transparent. I just remember like, wow, I've never seen this before. Like, these are things I won't compromise. And we can think that, but he actually put it into writing, and it became a part of, their family as well. So I've never done that. As far as, we have core values. I'm looking at something here for our one business written out, which is under the camera. Mission, things that drive our family, like generational impact for Christ is what has driven our family, businesses, ministry for life. I wouldn't call that a non-negotiable. There's another part of that is, but that's where, just to get back on track, the terminology of non-negotiables, like that's actually where I first started to really grab that. I'll share that with you. I don't know if I ever shared that with you.
No.
There you go. Brand new.
I'm just learning this for the first time. It was good.
How about you? Non-negotiables.
Well, I can go back to what I had just mentioned earlier. Like, I knew when I was single, I had non-negotiables as far as who was going to be my husband.
Why did you even have those?
Because I knew what I wanted. I knew, and I was not, I guess, from seeing people around me and what I didn't want. Maybe. Or maybe stuff that was instilled in me as a child from my parents and their parents and up, like for instance, debt. That was ingrained in me that you don't go into debt.
It was ingrained in me to go into debt.
Yeah. And so there was almost a fear.
Actually,
there was almost a fear in me of being in debt. And so I was very, very frugal. And so when I was out in the single world, I would always be right up front with anyone who I was on a date with, or anyone I was around. Everyone around me knew. And my top ones were, he has to love God more than me, and he can't be in debt. Those were like 1 and 2.
Non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. That was a non-negotiable. And if you were in that, then we don't even need to go out. Oh, and the other one was, I'm not going to sleep with you. So that took out probably 90% of the people that asked me out on dates. That one was
99.
That was a non-negotiable on their side.
Yeah.
Which was fine. That could be a non-negotiable on their side, but that was not me. So we don't even need to go on a date. Why waste time? And especially as I was getting older, like, I didn't have time to waste. When you're a female, going into your late 20s, you didn't want to, my parents might have said I was a little too strict on some of those, but that was non-negotiable. I'd rather have been single my whole life than to compromise in any of those areas.
Yeah, which is interesting, because when you do get married, which is part of what we talk about on Legacy Podcast and Will, there are things that need to be negotiated, and there are parts that are non-negotiables.
Yes.
So when I met you and you told me, I forgot the third one. We honored that. Not that I did, and we don't talk about that a lot.
Yeah, you still stuck around. So.
How you wanted to marry somebody who loved God more than you and was debt-free. Those are the 2 I remembered. And I tell that story. Yes, the third one as well. But how I thought, this woman's crazy. How could I love God more than you? And then also, how could I be debt-free? That was never a non-negotiable in my life. So that was new. But God changed my heart quickly and changed the circumstance to reflect that, so we could get married.
But what's amazing, though, is because I stood my ground on that, God worked miraculously to get you out of debt.
Yeah, thank you.
But I mean, I'm thinking if I would have compromised or been like, I love this guy so much, maybe I can just And you weren't just a little in debt. You were a lot. Like, it wasn't like I was looking at
I mean, I'm like, go big or go home.
Yeah. It wasn't like we were looking at like $5,000 and
Everything's
okay,
big
we
in
get
Texas, right?
right. You know, like, oh well, that's nothing. Like it
Yeah.
was like a life-changing amount of debt where that would have put weights on. I would have felt like on me if we would have got married because I knew I would be responsible for that too as a married person.
That was a non-negotiable.
That was a non-negotiable for me. So I was in a spot where I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I could have very easily, and most people, and I know most of my friends who had non-negotiables before they were married, they compromised. And they go, well, this is probably the best I can get. Maybe I can't get that. And even walking down the aisle knew it wasn't 100% what they wanted. And then we're divorced a few years later. Like,
yeah, that's a dangerous place.
It's a very dangerous
compromise.
It's a compromise.
Whether it's marriage is a very dangerous place.
Yes.
In your integrity, in your character,
yes.
in business. Well, if I just do this one little thing, I know it's not exactly what I thought. It leads to bad situations. Non-negotiables.
Yes. And it's interesting too because even when and this is back to dating, but even when someone would maybe check all the boxes, it's amazing how but I knew that wasn't the person that was for me. And this happened several times. Like I knew that wasn't going to be my husband, but money would be thrown out. It's interesting how they try to like, you'll never have to work a day in your life. I'll take care of everything. And as a female, especially from I know there's a lot of females, that's what they actually look for is they want to be taken care of. But for me, I wanted to marry who God wanted me to marry, and I wanted to marry someone I loved. And I wasn't going to, that was a non-negotiable for me. So I didn't care how much, I don't care if the guy was worth $1 billion. It didn't matter to me. I wanted to marry who God wanted me to. And I knew it when
in those
the person I loved.
Right?
Yes. And
that's what you're talking about.
Yes. In the non-negotiables. So.
Because when I first met you at the dinner, all the kids were there and they were feeling my big muscles at the time. Not so much now. And then the other people that were he pulled out his wallet and his
wife was like,
ooh,
feel my wallet.
Feel my wallet, yeah.
And he was very wealthy.
So I wasn't at that point yet. I had to come out of some things there for the non-negotiables. But all right, so like now, today, what are some non-negotiables that you walk through and walk with now in your life?
We still have kids at home.
Yeah.
Now, even though some have are out of school and are working now, but we still have a couple still left in school. And so I really don't want to step out, because as you know, early on, I was an entrepreneur. I was in the workforce and I do enjoy that. But I also don't want to miss out on any, I don't want to say, oh, well, they're almost out, I'm out. Like, I don't want, until they're out or out of school, maybe not out of the house, I really want to still stay focused and be present there.
So the non-negotiable is to check out.
Yes, I don't want to.
Like in other words, they're out, move on, where you see some people do that. And this isn't about you or them. Like some people, it's like the non-negotiable is when the kid hits 18, they're out of the house. Good riddance. Like.
And also, I have a choice. Like some women don't have a choice.
Yeah.
They have to. Because I'm blessed to be able to, I would like to do that. Like that would be a non-negotiable.
Yeah. I knew like for me, like a non-negotiable is like taking care of my own soul.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need to have time in prayer.
Yes.
Like it's a non-negotiable. If I don't take care of my own heart with Jesus, then everything else will fall apart. So that's probably, as I'm like answering the question I asked you, that's probably number one.
Yes.
And that starts at the very beginning of every day.
Yes.
And I have a choice. I can sleep in. I can pick up that device, which I threw on the ground over there. I can start to think about business or what's coming up in the day. And sometimes I do that too, but I need to have a non-negotiable to have time with God. And I am leaning, I guess, in that it's not always like this amount of time, but at least to say, Jesus, I need you in my day. this morning was a lot more than that. It was several hours. Like that was a blessing I had. I got up early. And that non-negotiable was awesome because I had more time just to get into the word, to pray, just to take care of my own soul.
Yes.
That's a non-negotiable for me, because that's above all else. Proverbs 4:23, I'm to guard my heart. Matthew 6:33 says we're to seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and everything else will be added. So to me, that's a non-negotiable. Like pursue Christ first, and then throughout my day. Because when I don't, it becomes problematic. And there are days where it's more, and there's days where it's less. And usually the story of my day will reveal where my heart was. So that's one for me, for myself to walk, but also to like set the example for you and then for our children that's just a non-negotiable, like, not sacrificing that. Cause there's so many people that, I know in business, we operate in business. We own different companies. We've been in business for a long time. That's part of legacy is finance. Is just I heard this one guy say, you can't make money without sacrificing your health. This is a well-known guy in the one industry we're working in. And he said, so I just said, forget my health. He's a different word, or I think, I don't know. And I was like, that is so much a lie. So like our health has to be a non-negotiable, right?
Which we need to work better on that.
We do.
Because I can tell you that's usually the first thing that I get scrapped in a day when, my time with God, that's a non-negotiable, like you said.
Yeah.
But if I'm busy or whatever, I'm like, okay, well, I won't work out today.
Yeah. Well, even for me
I'll
too,
take a day off.
Yeah. And that's the health side of it. But making sure I'm praying for you every day has got to be, and we've been talking about that at church. Like I need to do that. It's got to be.
I think, when it comes to marriage, I think something that we've done right is that early on we made a non-negotiable, like I don't text or call other men, even if they're friends, why open the door to something that might, and anyone could fall. I'm not sitting there going, well, it's impossible. I used to think that, but in any circumstance, anyone could find themselves in a bad situation. So why would I have you have one little ounce of thinking, what is she doing? Why is she out to lunch with this guy? Why? And I know people that do it. Yeah. I know other couple that they all the time, or they think it's fine texting back and forth. What we do is we'll text as a group.
Yeah.
Like if we're texting we'll text as a group. I don't have phone calls and conversations with other men. You don't with other women. Like it's.
Yeah. Even at the office, like, where we're at now, we have curtains on this office right now, but like have had like glass offices. If I am meeting with a woman, even in business, I'll generally have a door open or somebody else with me. Usually both. It doesn't always happen, but I won't allow myself to be put into a situation if it's within an office or traveling. There's a lot of danger in that. This is a really good non-negotiable to talk about.
Yes.
I didn't even think about this one. We just started thinking about this topic. What will I allow myself to put myself in? What kind of position to fail? So in marriage, it's really important. We talk about the story of David, and I think it's 2 Samuel 11, how it says at the time when kings were at battle, the non-negotiable for David should have been to be at battle.
Yes.
But it wasn't, so he was on a rooftop seeing Bathsheba. And then, of course, he fell into adultery and he fell into murder. I say fell. He chose those things. So that was not a non-negotiable for him to be in the proper placement. So part of your non-negotiables that you're talking about now is non-negotiables with relationships with the opposite sex. It's really good. That's wise.
Yes. But you just have to know, like, because, I used to think it was naive to think, oh, well, if I'm in love or whatever, that would never happen, or I never. And as soon as you say it never would is when a circumstance might happen. And so I always think the worst, what's the worst case scenario that could happen and how to like You won't be perfect 100 times to being a perfect, you may end up alone not wanting to or meaning to, but
I know Billy Graham had a non-negotiable with that. I remember he would have never. I'm a pastor too of a church, so meeting with a woman and counseling her
yeah,
without my wife or another man is probably one of the most dangerous things you can do.
yes.
This might be speaking to somebody listening right now, and it can be disguised as a holy thing. It could be in the office setting. It could be because I work in business.
And it could start out totally innocent.
Yeah,
like your heart's in the right place. You want to help.
It almost always starts out totally innocent. It's not like, oh, I went into this as meaning
you meant
something.
it, right?
No, but Billy Graham had I believe this was his non-negotiable was never meet or minister with a woman on his own.
Right.
I remember seeing him in an interview talk about that. I remember hearing that and going, wow, that's a man who's been used by God tremendously. And that's a non-negotiable. So that is a non-negotiable I've grabbed in my life. Have I been perfect? I think I have been pretty darn close. But there's sometimes somebody will walk up and talk to you. It's not getting that, you know what I mean? It's not like, okay, they walked up to a hall and asked me a question. Like, oh, no, I can't talk to you. That's a little out of hand. Now, it happens repetitively in the hallway. Now that's an issue. So hear what we're saying and what we're not saying with that, if that makes sense. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
That is a big one we started early on. I forgot about that one.
And here's the thing too, is it's not just about you'll fall, but what if you get accused of something? Like, think about Joseph and Potiphar's wife. What if someone else, a third party, would have been in there?
Yeah.
That could have mitigated the whole thing, but it was her word against his. And you see a lot of this out there where there's a lot of accusation going on. I'm not saying it's true or not true, but just a way of protection, like knowing that, hey, there was a third person here.
Yeah.
And so that helps.
That's a non-negotiable.
But yes, it was definitely non-negotiable.
I know in raising our kids, when they're hitting 13 and taking them through Pathway to Purity, or what was it called?
Mm-hmm. Passport.
Thank you, Joel. Creating some non-negotiables in their lives with dating or physicality with people. If you have a line that there's, let me turn it this way. This is sex, for example, out of marriage, falling off the cliff here. And if you have a non-negotiable that's this close to the edge, how quickly it can be to fail. So create a non-negotiable that's back far away from where you want to be.
Yep.
That's one I know that we've taught our kids, be wise and set boundaries, but those could be termed non-negotiables too, I think.
I think too, another one in our life that once we got out of debt, we're like, we're not going back.
Yeah.
Like once our house was paid off, we're like, we aren't going to have a mortgage again.
No, I did do that and then paid it off again.
Well, yes, but we knew that was coming right around the right. Yeah. But that
where we're at now, as far as finance and things, the house, debt free. It is a non-negotiable. There would have been times in our business where you've come back even and said, hey, would you want to just take a loan out on the house? No, that's not even an option. I'm not going to do that. So that's become a non-negotiable. That's part of how we want to walk debt free, with our home, with our cars, with those types of things. That's a non-negotiable.
But let me tell you, that's hard because the shiny objects go in front, or what about this vacation or this, that. There are times, to get us to that point, we were eating out of our freezer and fridge and didn't have air conditioning.
Frozen fish sticks and corn, frozen corn.
We went through some very painful experiences getting out of debt.
Yeah.
And it would have been it's so easy to go right back into debt. So easy.
As we were getting debt free, we made it a non-negotiable. It was eat out of our pantry, eat our freezer food, eat everything, no air conditioning.
Yes.
These became non-negotiables to set us up to succeed, to annihilate our debt, cut expenses, focus on increasing income.
And able to give more.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Which was one of our passions. So.
Now that's a non-negotiable.
Yes. Giving was non-negotiable.
We didn't list out our non-negotiables before we got
we did.
But that is one. We are giving.
We have a lot of yes.
And it's not just 10% generally. That is a non-negotiable in my mind. Yes, we are to tithe. There's no doubt. You guys can debate that. Is it gross, net, all that? The hard is once I fell in love with Jesus and knew Jesus, it's all his. So like
Yes.
whatever you want, take it. And there've been times in our life where it has been like everything. It's just a non-negotiable. We will not stop giving. I know we take care of, and we're blessed to be a part of taking care of different things in ministry. One of them is, an orphanage in India, Sesame International School of Excellence. That's always been like a non-negotiable. Like we're giving there. Even when there were years where I've made zero money, we would not stop giving, and we would just do whatever it took to take care of those kids.
Yes.
So that's a non-negotiable that we live by, whether it's a percentage that you give, like we've taught our kids since they were young to live off percentages. I guess that would be almost like a non-negotiable. This is what you can spend. This is what you save. This is what you invest. I think in their lives, they took it that way. I know our two eldest who are in the workplace now are very good with finance. So developing those non-negotiables in their life around finance, really important. So around relationship, finance, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, which is legacy, because we're
It
teaching our kids, like everything we're saying on non-negotiables, we're teaching our kids, and we're seeing them actually do the same thing.
Better than I did.
Yes.
For sure. So,
and learn it earlier. Like, what if we would have known this at their age?
But non-negotiables around finance, faith, family, that's what we started to talk about without even like thinking about those three topics. Like there are non-negotiables we've discussed around finance and giving and how we handle money. There are non-negotiables around our family, around marriage, around our kids. And man, do you have to fight sometimes for your family? Because people will try to infringe upon your non-negotiable.
Yes. And your kids will want to sometimes too.
Let me say that again.
Yes.
People guaranteed will try to run over your non-negotiable to serve their need.
Yes.
And it may be in the appearance of Jesus, in the appearance of giving, in the appearance of business, in the appearance of marriage, family, whatever you want to label it. People want what you got, and they'll do whatever. Sometimes
your boundaries will be tested.
Yeah.
And
it's a good way to put it.
Usually,
all of us.
Yes, and usually tested over and over and over again. And sometimes you're in painful positions where it would be easy, where a lot of people slip.
You have to defend.
You do.
Non-negotiables. I guess that's why they're called non-negotiables. In business or in war, there's certain things you can negotiate through, but there's just some, like, it's just not up it's not up for negotiation. There's been stuff that's happened with our kids. It's not up for negotiation. You go deal with stuff, you drive things out, you deal with things within our family, with outside of the family, in the business. It's non-negotiable. Somebody comes in here. This is a room, actually, before it was a podcast room. I used to interview people in here, and I would tell them it's a non-negotiable. You lie, you're out of here. Like, we don't lie in this business. We don't lie to get a sale. It's a non-negotiable. So in business, we have those. Family, finance, faith. I shared kind of a non-negotiable, not kind of a non-negotiable for me is like guarding my heart and then doing my best to allow each of you to be able to do that too. So those are, we went into a lot of stuff today, actually.
Yes.
There's a lot of non-negotiables we live by.
There's a lot.
They become habit to where I don't even think I don't have it written on a paper, and I love how Trent Richmond did that.
We should do that.
No, it's a great reminder. Like, I think it's a great idea.
We should put it up in our house too. Like, what are non-negotiables?
Is that a non-negotiable?
Yes, it is. No. Because I never thought, like, we just live them.
Yeah, I know for us, non-negotiable is always like to keep our relationship too. So whether it's a date night, going out, sitting at home, just falling asleep together, whatever, having time to talk, been a non-negotiable.
And loving being together. How many couples, we didn't want to be the couple that, like, the kids leave the house and they don't even know each other.
Yeah. And now the kids are in the house and we start to kiss and they're like, stop it. And they're like, get a room. And we'll be like, you're in our room, get out. Joel's not smiling on that one. He's like, wrap up this legacy podcast.
Well, we do. We are less than a minute.
It's a non-negotiable. You have to commit to your marriage and your spouse. And that's a whole topic maybe we'll get into. How many people put their kids over their marriage?
That's a whole nother topic. But
that's a whole
really a
non-negotiable for us. But
and the reason I'm sitting here is because another non-negotiable is when God tells you to do something, you do it. That's a non-negotiable. And when God told you we're doing this,
do it.
I wasn't getting out of it.
I don't even know what you're referencing, but yes, there's many things in our life where we're like, God said it. Okay, let's go do it, regardless of the pain or the blessing or whatever is involved. It's just best to walk with the non-negotiable. Listening to God is non-negotiable. Ending this podcast.
Yes, we're out of time.
Not negotiable anymore, I don't think. Joel's giving the heads up.
Well, thank you for sticking with us during this non-negotiable topic.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I'm Jeff. This is
Jennifer.
And we'll see you
We're the Legacy Podcast.
Legacy Podcast.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.